Hi, welcome to today's episode. I'm here alone today talking about something which I've wanted to do an episode on for quite some time because it's something I'm super passionate and opinionated about, as I think you're going to hear. Today, I'm talking about why you should never go on a diet ever again. Yes, that's right, you're hearing it from a health coach. Do not go on a diet ever again. You have my permission. That's the rule. How many diets have you been on? Have those diets achieved the results that you wanted? If you're anything like me, then probably not. I was a dieter for most of my adult life. In fact, I would say I first started to diet around the age of 13, which is very sad when I look back because, when I was 13, many moons ago, there was no social media. Our form of media was magazines and soaps. That was the main thing, and Top of the Pops back then, if you're young enough to remember. But it was enough to have made me think at that age that there was something wrong with me to lead me to want to control the food that I ate and talk about going on a diet. Every Monday was a new diet. It was time to start or get back on the diet. The cycle was constant for years and years. Monday, start the diet. You feel focused, ready for it. I'm going to do it this time. I know exactly what the plan is. Tuesday, still going well. Feel pretty motivated. Yep, this is going to be good. Wednesday, feels maybe a little bit tough, but come on, I definitely feel a bit thinner. I think I might have lost a couple of pounds already. Maybe I've even jumped on the scales to check at that point. I'm kind of urging myself on, push forward. Thursday comes, almost the weekend. One more day to get through because then Friday comes and you can sigh a big relief and let loose because, oh my God, after that week at work I've just had, I definitely deserve a bottle of wine and a very large bar of dairy milk tonight. I've worked hard. I deserve it. Then Sunday comes and it's the remorse, the guilt. Why did I let myself go? I was doing so well all week. I know I want this so much, so why can't I just have more willpower? I've let myself down again. All of the negativity comes in. The abuse to myself, you're useless, you're fat, you're never going to do it, you're always going to be like this. Let's start again tomorrow. Definitely tomorrow. That is it. New diet, new week, off we go again. Does that sound familiar? Because I know that's the cycle that so many people, women in particular, continue through for so many years of their adult life. I was going to say that for so much because I know women who are still in their 60s going through this kind of cycle. I tried so many diets. It was torture and it did control my life. And of course, because of that, it massively affected my happiness. I disliked myself and I was stuck. I felt a lot of shame and regret and I felt totally desperate because I used to think, well, why can't I just be that smaller size? Why can't I just lose this weight? And when I'm talking about wanting to lose weight, I was never anything bigger than a size 14 except post-pregnancy because I did put on 5 stone in pregnancy. So for those of you that don't work in stones, that is, off the top of my head, I think about 70 pounds, whatever that is in kilograms. I put on a lot of weight. But I was never, really overweight as such. Although talking about BMIs and the measure that the medical professional industry use to determine whether our weight is in a healthy range or not, my BMI was always at the top end of the range. And I've been told on numerous times, especially when I'd go to say about family planning and contraceptives and they'd weigh you as a woman and then they say, oh, your BMI is very high, it's whatever it might be, 24 or nearly 25. And so, you really are looking at being maybe in the unhealthy weight range, given that I was never anything bigger than a size 14 and I was never really somebody who you could look at and say was overweight. Yes, I wasn't a size 8, and for most of my adult life I wasn't a size 10. But I just didn't like how I felt, and I really believed that if I lost the weight, I'd finally like myself. I'd finally feel happy. That was why I continued to go on to diets, to start that cycle so many Mondays, to think that that new diet was going to be the answer for the happiness and confidence I was missing. And why do we do that? Because, it's the conditioning that we've been through. We think thin equals normal, successful, happy, and that's why, as women, we waste so many years of our lives living, in hope and desperation, trying to meet that societal norm, believing that that's the answer to our prayers. As I said, I'm 47. Grown up, late 80s as a teenager into the 90s. Even then, there was so much pressure. That was the time of supermodels, the wave supermodels like Kate Moss and Naomi Campbell and Elle Macpherson, the body. And we've been led to believe that that's what happiness comes from, being that perfect size and weight. And I found this quote from the actress Emma Thompson, which I wanted to share. Emma said, "I think one of the tragedies in our lives, in women's lives, is the time, the effort, the energy, the passion that we've wasted on not being able to accept our own bodies." So, why are we so obsessed with diets being the route to happiness? It's media, society, this diet culture, this toxic diet culture that's evolved and puts so many people under enormous pressure, and as we know, can lead to challenges with mental health, can lead to eating disorders. It's very, very damaging. We think that health is about the size of our body, and whether or not you're obsessed with diets and have been, or find the diet culture something that has affected you, I'm pretty sure that you, as if you're female listening to this, and maybe I know it can be the same for some men, you believe health, when you talk about being healthy, is linked to the size that you are. And that's because of all of this conditioning that we've had. There's peer pressure, social pressure, so much lack of education out there. We're not taught about this, and we certainly in my day didn't talk openly and have honest conversations about the emotional health side of our weight and this diet culture as well. There's always been this fear of being judged about your body, and so there's a stigma attached to it, which I think is, a big part of those reasons as to why we've been conditioned to believe that our weight is going to be the answer to happiness and will equal being healthy. As I mentioned with BMI, the medical community have focused for so long, and still do, on BMI, your weight, that measurement that they take of your weight and your height, to be an indicator of health. And so that's also contributed to that perception that your body size is directly linked to your well-being. But this oversimplifies it, and it's not that straightforward. We have our genetics at play. There are so many different things that affect our body composition, our bone density, the muscles that we have, our build. There's a lot that it has to be factored in, as well as what that number is on the scales. And then our well-being, is made up of every part of our life, from our environment, our finances, our relationships, the community we are part of, social, as well as the physical, mental, emotional health pieces. So, there's lots of reasons why, and this episode isn't about diving right into that diet culture and why we've evolved to believe that a diet is the answer, because this episode is about why I don't want you to ever go on a diet again, which we're going to come on to, drum roll. So this cycle of extreme diet or obsession over weight and waiting to lose that weight to feel healthy, to feel confident, to feel happy is, a trap that so many women have fallen into. And I think, certainly in my friendship group and when I was working for Nike and around lots of different people all of those years, our conversations were so often and regularly around diet and what diet we tried. Was it the cabbage diet? Was it the slim fast diet? Was it the Atkins diet? Was it the keto diet? What were we having? We were just having beetroot and rocket leaves for lunch and then a couple of boiled eggs on the afternoon. Was that working? Just talk about it. And so when you're amongst people who are talking about it in that way and you're struggling with it and you then are part of those conversations, it just becomes the norm and kind of accepted that's the right thing to do, that everyone should be thinking about these diets and what diet to go on and so on. And I want to be really clear here that I absolutely acknowledge you might want to lose weight, that there are people out there who might want to lose weight, and that there are people who are overweight and obese, and that they may need to lose weight for their health. And a healthy weight range, and I'm not talking BMI here, I'm just talking much more general in whatever you deem as healthy generally with the weight. And actually, as I'm saying that, using the word healthy to describe healthy weight range probably isn't the right phrasing I want to use, because I mean, being in a weight range that contributes to overall good health is of importance. I absolutely advocate that being overweight and obese is something that will negatively impact your health now, potentially, but most definitely in the future. And I do focus a lot on your future health. It's not just about lifespan, it's about our health span, which is the amount of time we're alive and have good, strong health, which we want to be as close, if not equal, to our lifespan as possible. So I acknowledge and know that for many people, weight is something that they want to work on. And so I would encourage you, if that is a goal, to do that, but without going on a diet, okay, which we'll come on to. So I just want to share a couple of stats here, because we are facing an obesity epidemic. It is a global problem. And I heard something on the news just the other day saying that by 2035 in the UK alone, they expect that the cost of obesity will be more than the cost of treating cancer in the NHS here in the UK, which is astounding because we're all scared of cancer. We know 1 in 2 people are diagnosed with cancer at some point in their lifetime. And we know that it is something many of us have to battle with for many years and can, change our lives if it's not you diagnosed with cancer, in someone in your family. It affects everybody's lives at some point in some way. So to think that that huge monster we know risks all of our health is going to be superseded in cost to treat by obesity, we can see then the scale of what we're facing, and that's just in the UK. So in 2021, the Health Survey for England found that 64% of adults in the UK were either overweight or obese. And it is harder than ever to maintain a healthy weight because of how we live. With over 2/3 of us overweight or obese and 1 in 4 of us obese, weight loss is a topic that we do need to open discuss, but in a healthy, sustainable way. Because we know that people struggle with weight. And again, I don't want to go into the whole food industry and a lot of the reasons why we have this crisis with obesity. But, we know that many of the foods we have on offer are addictive. They're being produced so that we want more of them, and our lifestyle is much more sedentary than it used to be in the past. And, there's lots of factors which have contributed to obesity. And it's something that I do really want to raise awareness of, especially when it comes to our kids, which is, the huge vision I have to work towards and help our kids to value their health through building sustainable habits and just normalizing those habits as adults so our kids adopt them and they don't know anything else. It's just how they live. So diets don't work. It's that simple. Okay, so I don't want to focus on whether you should or shouldn't lose any weight today. I want to help you see why your obsession with going on a diet isn't the answer to either weight loss or health. Because diets, I know through my story and so many women's stories, just don't work. There's a 95% failure rate, and research indicates that 95% of people who lose weight through diets regain it within 1 to 5 years, and often they gain more weight than what they previously lost. So that just, shows the ineffectiveness of going on a diet and trying to lose weight in that way. We know yo-yo dieting, those cycles of diet and losing weight, followed by that gaining of the weight back, can really cause havoc on our physical and mental health. It can lead to higher risks of things like heart disease and diabetes, as well as creating a lot of psychological and emotional distress. And that cycle of losing weight and putting weight on and very repetitively doing that has a lot of other negative consequences on our health. It's very challenging for our bodies to go through that process regularly of losing weight and putting weight on. And this thing of going on a diet is really emphasising that short-term weight loss goal rather than the long-term health and well-being, which is what it should be about and what I'm all about, of building habits that last for the rest of your life. So going on a diet is about the short term. How many times have you gone on a diet to lose weight for the holiday in, I don't know, maybe it's 6 months' time and then it doesn't happen, and then it's 2 months' time and then it's 2 weeks' time and you've got a stone to lose in 2 weeks and you have to go on a diet. So one of the things that I share is that we all have a diet. Every living creature, including us humans, has a diet. We have to survive. A diet is the fuel that we need to be able to function. A diet is really that habitual eating pattern that we have. It's the types of foods that you eat and drink. It's the portion sizes, the times that you have, everything nutritionally that you're putting in, whether solid or liquid, to your body. That's what a diet is. It's simply the combination of what you put into your body, the fuel you give it through food and hydration. It's that simple. It's what you eat every single day. That is your diet. We all have a diet now to survive. So when you say you're going on a diet, you really mean you're changing your diet. Except in your mind, it's not changing what we're eating. It's that we're starting something temporary with that short-term goal to lose weight. And it often is from a place of restriction, denial, exclusion. All of those negative things. Think about it. When you're going on a diet, you're eliminating things. You're cutting things out. You're restricting yourself with what you eat. Maybe you're counting calories. Maybe you're only eating certain food types. Are you ever starting that diet from a place of knowing that it's going to be part of your lifestyle for the rest of your life? I certainly didn't. And I have this now with clients. The diets that they've been on and that they try are ones that they can't wait to be over when they've hit that goal to go back to normal. But normal then isn't working because they put the weight back on. Normal isn't healthy. So I believe that the way to approach your health from a nutritional point of view, or if you have a specific health goal to lose weight, is that you approach it from a mindset of adjusting your diet because you already have a diet. So go with an approach around changing in a way that is achieving the goals you want, whether it's to feel less tired, to lose weight, to feel more energized, to know that you're putting the right nutrients into your body to give it what it needs so that you can fight illness and disease as you age. Whatever goal you have, approach it from that positive place of how you're going to feel, and then what do you need to do with the diet you have now to make sure that you're achieving that goal. So if you listened carefully at the start, and I've said it a couple of times, This is about you never going on a diet again. It's that word on. You have a diet now. It's about changing your diet. It's that your diet is maximizing your health. And your diet is only one of the levers that you have to build a healthier lifestyle. It's very, very important. But dieting to lose weight will not result in you being healthy. If you aren't sleeping well, if you are overstressed, if you aren't moving your body, if you are beating yourself up internally in your mind and telling yourself you're not good enough, that's not healthy. Doesn't matter how good the food is that you put on your plate and what number you are on the scales. That isn't healthy if all of those other parts of your lifestyle are making you still feel drained, unhappy, overwhelmed, stressed, unconfident, etc. So I want you to focus on what you can include, not exclude. I don't want this language of good, bad, treat day, off day, a weighing day, and so it's time to treat myself and so on. It's about what's nutritious, what's that food you're putting into your body going to do, not just to your body, but to your mind, to your brain. Food is absolutely a part of how well our brain works. Don't think of it in terms of the calorific content. Count calories and go, well, I'm fine because I've had 1,200 calories today. That's fine. Calories could be a whole other season, not just episode. And maybe we'll touch on that at a separate time. But it's about eating foods that are going to fuel you in a great way, that are protecting your health, that are making you feel full of energy and vitality and raring to go, and that you want to, do the things that maybe you've been putting off, and all of those wonderful ripple effects that you'll get, because food affects your mood. That's a huge part of it. So when you're mindful about how you eat and what you eat and when you eat and as you're eating it, it can really boost your health and well-being as well. So it's everything. It's the package of the types of food you eat, but your approach, your mindset to the food and how you manage that. And food can really be such a powerful form of medicine, but likewise, on the flip side, it really can be a poison and very damaging when you are stuck in that place of diet cycling and weight loss yo-yoing. So that's why I don't want you to go on a diet again. I want you to have a great diet, but we have a diet already. We've got it. So what needs to change? How do you get more balance? How do you stop the restriction? And how do you move away from feeling like you've got to change everything on Monday and it's only temporary until you've hit the weight loss goal and then you can go back to normal? I don't feel guilty when I eat chocolate or pizza or drink some wine because I do everything in moderation. And I know that when I drink wine, it's got toxins in it and that it's not great for my overall well-being. But I know that I drink very little in moderation and that I'm aware of it. I'm making the decision from my conscious mind rather than subconscious as a habit. And I've done some work on that so that I wasn't always drinking from a place of habit, because it's very easy to be like that. So, I don't feel guilty and I don't say, I'm going to have a treat today because I'm having a day off my diet. No, I just eat. I eat to feed my mind and body. I eat so that I know I do feel good. And part of feeling good for me is about my size. It is. Hands up. If you're on the video, you can see I've got my hands up. It is about my size for me. And that's an important part of how I feel confident and well and energized. So I do think about what I'm eating. I don't eat absolutely anything, but I know that I'm eating foods which are very rich in the value they've got nutritionally when I have those. So it's really about this balanced approach that promotes the overall health and well-being. And it's in conjunction with everything else in your healthy habits toolbox. So to kind of wrap up here, your size does not result in you being healthy or unhealthy. You can have someone who's very slender naturally who could be extremely unhealthy. So, that judgment of, well, if you're thin, you're healthy, needs to stop. That's fact, okay? I want you to ditch the new diets and that mindset of having to go on a diet. Accept you have a diet and that your diet may need to change and be improved, but this is your diet. And it's about building a way of eating for life, not for 6 weeks before your summer holiday to go back to normal and hate yourself for the rest of the year. And of course, body acceptance is so important. I do have someone who's going to come on the podcast to talk to us about this, so I don't want to go into too much of that now, but ultimately that's a reason why many of us are caught in that diet trap, as I mentioned at the start of the episode. Those beliefs that we have about our value being linked to our size. So for many of us, we do need to do some work on that acceptance, not just of how we look, but also who we are. Ultimately, who we are, our value as a person. And I know from my own journey and the work that I do with clients, when you approach this with that, mindset and wanting to really build lasting health and wellness and happiness, then you do start to shift that belief about the size you are being the determiner of the value that you have. And when you then do start to work on yourself and you do some of that work with the food you eat and you boost how you feel through eating more nutritious foods, the ripple effects can really be life-changing. So I don't want to hear you talk about going on any new diet or asking which diet is the best to lose half a stone in 2 weeks or what diet is working for which celeb right now. You are you. You get clear on how you want to feel and then think about whether the foods you eat are going to help you to feel this way. Now, you might need some education on foods and what they do, maybe how to cook and prep, and maybe even, how do you plan to shop for the right foods and to make those meals and so on. You may need help with the mindset around taking this different approach to an approach that you've been taking for maybe 30 years or more. And that's what I'm here for. I'm a coach who helps people to make lasting changes in their life, to know what that goal is they've got for their life and how they want to feel. So if this is something you're interested in, reach out. I'm a business, that's what I do, I'm here for that. So please ask any questions as well if you're just curious or feel a bit stuck about how you would begin to make this change. I'm really happy to give advice. I do offer free calls, 30-minute discovery call. It's not a sales call. This is you having an opportunity to chat with me for 30 minutes. The links are in the show notes. So if you're feeling like this is something needs to change for you, but you're stuck with where to begin, honestly, please reach out. Drop me a message on Instagram, LinkedIn, or book in a call. Change your diet in a sustainable way. Okay, so when you do that, it really does help you to achieve what it is you want for your life, so that you can lose that weight, so that you can feel more confident, you can help change your relationship or get more intimate and back into the relationship you're in right now. Maybe you can go for that promotion at work, whatever it is that's holding you back now because of how you feel in yourself. You can achieve that when you change your diet in a way that becomes part of who you are. You know what you're eating is contributing to those goals you've got about how you want to live and feel. Stop going on a diet for a short-term fix and believing that your worth is linked to the number on the scales. If your route to health does involve losing weight and you know that your diet needs an overhaul, great. You know that's step one, tick. Work on achieving this. Just don't think about it from the point of view that you're going on a diet, because this is telling yourself you're doing it temporary as a way to fix a problem, and then that's it. You can revert to normality once you've hit your goal. I hope this has really helped. If you know someone who would enjoy and benefit from today's topic, please do share the podcast. I really need you to be my cheerleaders. Get this podcast out to as many people as possible. If you haven't left a review yet, please do leave a review, because it's so important on the podcast platforms to help get me out there to a wider audience. And I've had so much positive feedback from so many of you. I know a lot of you are listening and waiting for the new episodes to come out every week, so I massively appreciate that. But let's keep sharing it. Let's help more people to live healthy right now, and start this week with this brilliant topic that I know is part of so many of our lives: let's help others to never go on a diet again as well. Thank you again for listening, and I look forward to chatting with you. Jump into socials, drop me a DM, let me know what you've thought of today's episode.